Welcome, virtual friends. Happy mind, happy life. Hope you're all doing well. Today we take a look at the R in SMART goals. If you're wondering what SMART goals are, no worries. There's a video in the description that will tell you all about it. But for now, let's talk about what I like to call the awkward relative of goal setting: being realistic. When it comes to our dreams, we can be all over the place. Some of us have big dreams that never blossom. Others, we keep our dreams on the down low, scared to even whisper them out loud. Why? Because deep down, I suppose if we air them in public and they don't come true, then we may feel we'll be judged by others. It's like we're afraid our dreams will roll their eyes at us and say, "Really? You?" But society is constantly telling us that anything is possible if we just work hard enough, keep showing up, and hustle until our eyes twitch. Mine were twitching last night. Need more sleep. But I digress. Let's be honest, life doesn't always work that way, no matter how hard you try. Sometimes life says, "Nice try, but nope." There's got to be a little realism baked into your dreams. Just a little, friends. Come on! Or else we're just setting ourselves up for a Netflix binge and an entire box of chocolates all for ourselves. Actually, that sounds good. Sorry. No, let's snap out of that. There is an old story about the milkmaid. Yes, I know, very sexist, but it serves as a fun example. She was walking to market, dreaming big. First, she'd sell her milk. Then she'd buy chickens. With those chickens, she'd make a small fortune selling eggs. Before long, she imagined herself owning a whole farm, dressed in fancy clothes, and everyone in town would be talking about her success. But while she was lost in these grand plans, she tripped and spilled all the milk. And just like that, poof, her dreams vanished. All because she wasn't paying attention to the present. The moral here? Dream big, sure, but don't lose sight of reality. If your head is too far in the clouds, you might trip over the rock right in front of you. We've got to take those steps with our feet on the ground, or we might end up spilling the milk before we even get to market. Keep dreaming, but make sure you're not chasing fantasies without something solid beneath you. Otherwise, that hustle might just lead to disappointment or a chocolate binge. Actually, no, focus. So why do we avoid being realistic? Well, because fantasy is fun. It's comforting to imagine a world where everything works out. And better still, it's good not to articulate it just in case it does not work out. Then we do not have to admit that we were working towards that. In Thinking, Fast and Slow, Daniel Kahneman talks about how we humans have this pesky thing called the planning fallacy. Basically, we're really good at convincing ourselves that everything will go perfectly, despite mountains of evidence to the contrary. We focus on the best-case scenario while blissfully ignoring the potholes along the way. Sound familiar? Take me, for example. I'm the type who loves seeing quick results. I'm so impatient that I expect results for most things in hours or days. But this impatience often leads to setting wildly unrealistic goals. Let's say I want to get fit. I'll convince myself that in 4 weeks I will see good results, if I just stick with the plan. But guess what? That's completely unrealistic. All things in life need time. So when it boils down to it, being realistic is about reasonable time frames and what is within your capability. We cannot save $2,000 in 3 months if all you can realistically save each month is $100 without sacrificing your essentials. It's unrealistic and needs to be adjusted to a longer savings period. Otherwise, you'll end up dipping into that account to take out the money you need. It's better to save less over a longer period and avoid having to touch your savings. So where does that leave us? It leaves us needing to make friends with reality. This reminds me of Aesop's fable, the goose that laid the golden eggs. A farmer had a goose that laid a golden egg each day. One egg, steady, consistent, and valuable. But the farmer grew impatient. He wanted more gold and he wanted it now. Instead of waiting for that daily egg, he decided to kill the goose, thinking he'd get all the gold at once. But there were no more eggs, no more gold. The goose was gone, and he was left with nothing. The moral? Impatience and unrealistic expectations can lead to loss. The farmer's greed for quicker results cost him everything. When it comes to saving money, it's the same deal. If you push yourself to save too much too fast, you'll end up dipping into your funds, just like the farmer lost his golden eggs. Instead, focus on saving slowly over time, $100 here, $100 there. That steady pace will bring you closer to your goal without losing sight of your financial goose. Slow and steady wins the money game too. Okay, enough of that woe is me talk. let's talk about how to make your goals realistic. Just a quick message, please support this channel by giving it a thumbs up and subscribing for more great content. Thank you. Let's continue. I've got a few practical steps for you, and I promise they won't be boring. I have researched for myself and you, so you do not have to do the research. I know, you can thank me later. Be honest with yourself, this is step 1, people. If you're someone who gets distracted by every shiny object, hi, that's me. Or if you lose focus after 5 minutes, you need to own that. Carl Jung, a pretty smart guy, once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." Translation: if you don't know your limits, they'll sneak up on you like a bad plot twist. For example, let's say you've got 5 hours of work to do. Now you could tell yourself you'll get it all done in one day. But will you? Be honest, will you really? Wouldn't it be better to spread it out over a week or two? Sure, you could cram it all in, but is that realistic? Only you know your habits, and that's why honesty is so crucial. Adjust your time frames. Here's the deal. Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither is any goal worth achieving. For instance, if I wanted to run a marathon, it'd be reasonable to train 3 times a week for several months. But would it be realistic for me to say, hey, I'll be ready to run a marathon in 2 weeks? Absolutely not. The only place I'd be running is straight to the hospital. In Atomic Habits, James Clear points out that you do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. Yes, I know I have said this already in previous videos, but it is so true, so I have to repeat it. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. This is key advice, people. Setting a realistic goal isn't just about dreaming big. It's about making sure you've got the right systems in place to support that dream. You've got to be willing to chip away at it, step by step, even if it feels slow. Sometimes we subconsciously compare ourselves to others. We see what they're achieving, and suddenly, we feel like we need to do the same. This taps into Jung's idea of the collective unconscious, the belief that we all have similar dreams or goals, like success or financial freedom. But here's the thing. What works for someone else might not work for you. Maybe their path to financial freedom involves saving thousands, while yours could be about saving smaller amounts that still lead to stability. Take saving money, for example. If your goal is to save $1,000 a month, but you've only got an extra $50 left after paying bills, is that realistic? Probably not. But what if you stretch that goal out to 6 months instead? Suddenly, it feels a lot more achievable. It's all about adjusting your time frame and strategy to fit your life, not someone else's. That way, you're more likely to succeed without driving yourself crazy. Embrace flexibility. Yes, we have to be flexible, not like a gymnast. Being realistic doesn't mean you're stuck with a rigid plan. In fact, the more flexible you are, the better. Life is full of ups and downs, dental bills, more surprise expenses, and just more stuff. Being realistic means leaving room for those moments. Let's say you're aiming to work out 4 days a week, but then you get hit with a killer deadline at work. Do you throw the whole goal out the window? Of course not. You just adjust. Maybe you work out 2 times that week instead. Flexibility is key. So how does all this tie back to SMART goals? Well, when your goals are specific, measurable, and achievable, they need to be grounded in realism to truly be effective. The R in SMART: make sure that you're not setting yourself up for a crash and burn moment later. It's the safety net that keeps your ambition from running wild. In the end, fantasies are fun. We all want to believe that if we just try hard enough, everything will magically fall into place. But life? Life is messy, unpredictable, and sometimes downright stubborn. That's why we need to balance dreaming big with keeping our feet on the ground. So my friends, let's make a pact. The next time we set a goal, let's be practical, let's be realistic, and let's give ourselves the space to succeed without losing our minds. Reality may not always be the most glamorous, but it's the one thing that'll keep our goals from turning into wishful thinking. Thanks for watching, and remember, being realistic is just as important as dreaming big. You've got this. Have a fabulous day.